First team has punched their ticket to the World Series championship game, that being the boys from Tallahassee, Florida. Two teams remain here in the second semifinal. Tonight, the home state team of West Fargo, the North Dakota state champion, and the boys from California in Tri-Valley. The Farmers Union Insurance pregame show rolls on here. Jordan Hasser joined by Chris Brintle. And Chris, these two teams have matched up once so far here in this tournament, and Tri-Valley had little problem with West Fargo winning that game 15-1.
Hey, I talked about these coaching staffs before the game, and it's very interesting because it's similar. They both want to forget about it. Even Tri-Valley, even though you get a 15-1 win, he goes, hey, today's a new day. Every day's different. West Fargo, they feel the same exact way. They want to forget that, get it out of their mind. At the same time, after that game, they switched their lineup around. That offense has had success since, so we'll see how it goes here tonight.
West Fargo 3-2. Tri-Valley 4-0. The Farmers Union Insurance pregame show rolls on from Artie Doffett Stadium in Williston. After this, it's game number 2. One more ticket to be punched to the championship game tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Tri-Valley and West Fargo get set to tangle in the second of two semifinals. Tri-Valley, the winner of the national division here in pool play. West Fargo, well, they're the third place team of the national division. Second place team, yeah, you guessed it, Tallahassee. So we're down to 3 national division teams here going into the second of two semifinals. The pregame show rolls on. Let's take a look at our Around the Region presented by your local West Dakota Chevy dealer. Visit westdakotachevy.com. That game earlier today between New England and the Southeast went to Tallahassee, the team out of the Southeast. This game, the North Dakota champ and the boys from West Fargo and the Pacific Southwest being the Tri-Valley All-Stars. Don't forget, tomorrow 1 o'clock, we will have first pitch of the Babe Ruth Championship game. Tallahassee's in. Who will they play? We're probably 2.5 hours away from deciding that here live from Artie Doffett Stadium. That's our trip around the region. Visit your local West Dakota Chevy dealers. Discover something strong. Visit westdakotachevy.com. Take a look now at our keys to the game presented by Eventide Senior Living Community. Visit them online at eventide.org. And Chris, you took a little minute of time earlier today to research these teams, and these are your keys.
Well, Tri-Valley is pretty simple. Do not waste opportunities. Against West Fargo, they have some pitching depth. They're facing some good pitchers here today, so if they get guys on base, they have to take advantage. Let's be honest here. Tri-Valley's the favorite in this game. They're the favorite to win the whole thing. But if they can mitigate mistakes and take advantage of their opportunities, they have a good shot to win this game. Tri-Valley, though, if they beat themselves, West Fargo's got a good chance. If you're West Fargo, you got to forget about the other night. Don't worry about the 15-1 game back on Sunday. Now, again, I don't think they are worried about it, man. They're loose. They talked about, hey, this is a new day. We're not too worried about it. And they said, hey, Tri-Valley has the pressure on them. They're the favorites. They're the one that has the pressure on them. We're just going to go out there and be loose, have fun, and play some baseball.
Those are our Eventide Senior Living Community keys to the game. Moving along, let's take a look at our players to watch and our Pro Seed player matchup. Need seed, think Pro Seed. For the boys from North Dakota, it's Ian Scary, a 500 hitter, 8 hits and 7 RBIs in the tournament. A lot of offense coming through that young man. For the West Fargo Rattlers, and the other side for Tri-Valley, it's George Smith. He's only had 5 hits, and 8 or 6 RBIs. Hasn't had a lot of hits in the contest, or at bats for that matter. He just finds a way to get on base. So Schmidt for Tri-Valley and Scary for West Fargo. Those are your Pro Seed player matchup. Need seed, think Pro Seed. The home team will be Tri-Valley on the scoreboard. Let's take a look at that Tri-Valley starting defense here in our starting lineups presented by Vogel Law Firm, where you're more than just a client, you're a trusted partner in your case. Defensively for Tri-Valley, left to right across the outfield will be Robertson, Schmidt, and Henninger. The infield will be Davidson at the hot corner. It'll be Tsudamoto playing shortstop, Souza at second base, and Foley will anchor first. The second half of the battery will be Flora, and the pitcher tonight, wearing jersey number 22 for Tri-Valley, will be Ryan Cooney. That's the starting 9 for the Tri-Valley All-Stars and your Vogel Law Firm starting lineups where you're more than a client, you are a trusted partner in your case. Introductions continuing here. And Chris, we look at this game again on paper, incredibly lopsided to Tri-Valley. Now go back to the game that happened just a few minutes ago in a game between Tallahassee and King Philip. Game was fairly balanced, 3-3 going into that fifth inning. Nobody scores in the sixth, nobody scores in the seventh. They both get one in the eighth. So a fairly well-balanced game. Then comes the ninth, and the boys from Tallahassee score 6 runs on 6 hits in the ninth. These are teams, no matter who's on the field in this 14U Babe Ruth World Series, that if something starts to crash, remember, these guys are still only 14 years old.
Exactly, and you got to keep that in mind. And again, that's kind of the name of the game. The team that mitigates mistakes, and if you make a mistake, you forget about it and not let one mistake metastasize into another mistake. Those are the teams that are going to win ball games. Mistakes are going to be made, but if you can limit them, you got a great opportunity. I think the Tallahassee team is interesting because they seem like the team of destiny here. Tri-Valley seems like the team that's the favorite, and then West Fargo, they're coming to spoil things and get a championship and do the unthinkable, and so far they have. They're here in the final 3, and it's very, very exciting. I'm here for it.
The real question tonight that will be decided in the next 2.5 hours is, will the shoe fit for Cinderella? We'll take a step aside. When we come back, we'll have first pitch for you. Tri-Valley and West Fargo. It's the second of 2 semifinals. Winner advances to the championship tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Loser's season comes to an end 1 game short of the ship. Back on the Farmers Union Insurance pregame show when we return to Artie Offit Stadium in Williston after this timeout. Getting set to tangle in the final semifinal of the day here in Williston. Happy to have you along no matter where you're watching all across the great state of North Dakota on KRDK and Beck Sports Plus West, or watching online at beck.tv. Thanks for joining us on what's been a beautiful Friday night, 28 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. The first pitch scheduled in this game for 7:30. We're only going to be about 64 or 65 minutes behind that time. But nevertheless, we're set for a pretty good baseball game. And I think one thing I want to touch on, Chris, as we were getting ready to go here, standing over on the platform where our broadcast cameras are located, we talked about it in last night's game, the shadows that left field were dealing with, and we talked about the shadow created by the press box. And I believe as this game starts, that shadow from the press box is just about to the spot where that left fielder will stand. So that's definitely going to be incredibly beneficial as watching North Dakota warm up. They're the second team to warm up. It seems like they struggled in left field with those pop flies coming during their IL practice.
Came into play last night near this time, could come into play tonight. I wouldn't want to play center field and left tonight with that sun beating down on you. And let's see if there's a factor. I think it'd be more of a factor here early in this game. Later, you might not have to worry about it, but we shall see. You're right, though. That press box shadow out there, that could help out the left fielder, especially if he's drifting on over towards the chalk down the left field line. But if he's headed over towards left center, that's going to be tough to keep that sun out of your eyes. And it's tough for the center fielder, especially as he's drifting towards left center.
So Robertson, Schmidt, and Henninger left to right across the outfield for the Tri-Valley All-Stars. It'll be Davidson, Tsunomoto, Souza, and Foley left to right across the infield. The catcher will be Flora, and our pitcher will be number 22, Ryan Cooney.
We'll have a scouting report for Ryan Cooney. Four-seam fastball, a change, a very good curve. He's a power guy, and if he can pound the zone, keep his pitch count low, and sometimes his out pitch, if that curve's really working, he's going to go to that thing for his out pitch. Ryan Cooney, a very talented dude, trying to get his team and will his team into the championship round.
Here's the batting order for the West Fargo Rattlers. They'll lead off the third baseman, number 5, Ian Scary. Second batter will be number 13, the shortstop, Brody Medina. Batting third, playing first base, Austin O'Lean. Batting fourth and pitching tonight, Cooper Fuchs. Batting fifth and playing right field, Kason Nordic. Batting sixth and playing center field, Noah Betker. He started last night's game. Batting seventh and catching will be Easton Tavet. Batting eighth, playing second base, will be Aiden Bioni. Batting ninth and coming in as the extra player is Cash Gilseth. We did not see him last night. And the 10th hitter playing left field will be number 0, Jackson Narum. So Scary, Medina, O'Lean, Fuchs, Nordic, Betker, Tavet, Bioni, Gilseth, and Narum.
Very confident West Fargo lineup coming into tonight. They've won 3 in a row with that offense getting it done, and their defense hasn't made the big mistake.
So our pitcher is Cooney, and we're getting set for our 24th game of this Babe Ruth World Series. And the first pitch for Cooney in there for a ball. First pitch at 8:31 Central Time here. 80 degrees and just a little bit of wind out of the northwest. Clear skies here in Williston. And with that pitch, they'll leave it up 1 ball and 1 strike to Ian Scarry.
Ian Scarry, he's a pest, and I mean that in a good way. Hit close to 500 coming in to the tournament. He's hitting 500 at the tournament, 3 for 5, a couple of doubles yesterday, and when he gets on base, he is a nuisance.
The 1-1 pitch misses up high. It'll go to 2 balls and 1 strike from Cooney for Tri-Valley. That one down in the dirt, and he's worked the count to 3-1, has the third baseman Ian Scarry. The 3-1 coming now from Cooney. That one up with his own, and Scarry, the first batter for Cooney, will get the free pass and head 90 feet to the south.
And you know Cooney's amped right now. It's a semifinal game. It's the World Series. He's probably a little amped. If he just calms down, I think he'll be just fine.
Medina played well last night. And now will be your shortstop here today, batting second. Medina follows that one off right into the screen in front of the West Fargo dugout. Ian Scarry, always a base-stealing threat. Stole 1 last night. 2 doubles, a single.
And he is a track star. He's tough to get out of there. Cooney's aware. That's why he just tossed it over to first. So Scarry, as I mentioned, he can be a pest on the base paths. We'll see if they may be aggressive here. Flores a great catcher, but again, they're 14. You got to force them to make a play sometimes.
The 0-1 coming to Medina. This one lifted to right center and down for a hit. Scarry going to have to hurry, and it was cut off by the shortstop, Sunimoto, the second baseman, Souza, and had he not cut that off, I believe Scarry would have been on at second.
They would have gotten him, but you know what? That's a tough luck play. How's Souza supposed to know exactly where that ball is going? That's a tough play right there, kind of a bad luck situation. Watch this here. Let's see. Yeah, if he doesn't cut it off, I think they get him a second, or it's going to be a close play. One of the two, but I think what's jumped out to me so far, you got Medina a hit, Scarry reaches. This West Fargo, that'd have been close. This West Fargo team, confident at the plate right now, confident with that offense. They'd love to jump on Tri-Valley and, again, put more pressure on this team.
Now batting number 8, Austin O'Lean, the first baseman. 2 on, nobody out here for O'Lean. Came in and pitched late in that game last night. Shows bunt, and we'll pull it back. Here is the first pitch. We'll call a strike.
O'Lean, coach's son.
Cooper Fuchs on deck to pitch here for this West Fargo Rattlers ball club. That one down in the dirt. We kind of leave it up at 1 ball and 1 strike.
And I agree with this. I would play small ball here. I would move both runners over and try to get 2 in scoring position. You got guys with speed on there too. Not much danger here in trying to bunt them over.
Pick over to second base. He's in there safely. The one thing I've noticed about this Tri-Valley team, keep in mind they're coming from Florida. I was 14, 23 years ago. I never looked as cool as half the kids on this field, man. I mean, Foley at first base looks like an absolute dude. I was never that cool. These California kids are cool, man. And the bunt will go foul. Kind of move to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I was never that cool either.
In my mind I was, but I never looked as cool as these kids.
I was like Screech from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah,
cool.
I could see that. Yeah, I could awkward cool. Ordering Sprites to go cool, basically. 1-2 the count to Austin O'Lean. Cooney sensible deal here. That ball left up, and the count will open up, even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So, yeah, small ball taken away here. You have 2 strikes. You don't want to foul it off with the bunt opportunity and get an out. So swinging away here is O'Lean in a really precarious situation early here for Cooney.
Cooney looks in, likes what he sees, and he's going to deal here on 2-2. That one in there for strike 3, and he'll sit down. Austin O'Lean looking, and the backwards K will be the first out of inning number 1.
That was a changeup, outer half, at the knees. That is an absolutely beautiful pitch by Cooney right there. And if he's throwing that in that situation, he's feeling his changeup.
We'll go back-to-back lefties here, 3-4, with O'Lean now Cooper Fuchs, the pitcher. And Cooney trying to pitch around. Leadoff walk and a single here, and he's got his first strike against Fuchs.
West Fargo here, in my opinion, they need to take advantage here. At least get one across. You don't need both right now, but just to get one across and say, hey, we converted. We got a guy in when we had him on the ropes in the first.
Way out front, let off speed pitches Cooper Fuchs, and quickly he finds himself in a hole at 0-2. Fuchs at the dish. Cooney will deal here on 0-2. That one outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Yeah, Tri-Valley perfect in the tournament. Getting here by a 16-1 win over Arkadelphia, 15-1 over this West Fargo team, 15-0 over Puyallup, and 10-4 over Tallahassee. Sit back, nice patience there. They'll get the out at first, but the runners will advance 90 feet. And Cooper Fuchs doing a good job keeping his hands back and pushing that ball down the first baseline.
And now a single, and you could get a 2-0 lead here maybe. Foley with a nice play over at first. Got over there in a hurry. I liked how Foley got the ball and then checked to see what was going on, because you never know if you catch somebody sleeping on the base path. So smart move by him. He knew he had time.
So runners in scoring position, Scary and Medina. That ball inside to the 5-hole hitter, Kaysen Nordic. Big spot here for Nordic to see if he can put a ball in play. That ball outside. He's ahead in the count, 2-0. Next pitch will be the 19th pitch of the inning. If you don't win this game, there is no tomorrow. The max is 95. You can finish the at-bat if you're in the 95th pitch. That one in there for a strike.
That's a nice four-seam fastball right there at the knees. If he can live there tonight, that'll really be difficult when he goes to that change, when he goes to that curve.
This one lifted high to left field. Drifting back, will it stay fair? It will, as Robertson makes a diving play, but he can't get there. Around second is Nordic, and he's going to stand up with a 2 RBI double, one of the farthest hit balls we've seen in this tournament.
Kaysen Nordic has some pop, dude. He's hitting .326 this year. We talked about his home run derby. This is a home run type of swing. He just missed it by a little bit, but it doesn't matter. He drifted it into the corner. Man, it got to the warning track almost. What a great effort, by the way, by Robertson. Got to give him some props right there. Beautiful piece of hitting. And how about West Fargo taking advantage of their early opportunity in a game they are not favored in.
And that 2 RBI double will get a mound visit from the Tri-Valley coaching staff, as 20 pitches have been thrown by Ryan Cooney. And now we've got Kaysen Nordic on second with 2 outs.
Well, John Flores out there. He's talking to his entire infield. And I think this is, hey, you know what, guys? It's early. Just stay calm. It's 2-0. They trust. This team trusts themselves. They trust their offense. They trust their pitching. They are not a team you can rattle very easily. So they're definitely not going to get rattled here, despite the fact they're down 2-0. On the other side, West Fargo, that is such a huge hit. You come into this game, a team that beat you 15-1 last week. West Fargo does not care about that. They have forgotten it. That's over. And now all of a sudden you got an advantage here in the semifinal round.
And that 51 loss coming back on Sunday. A kid that's 14 years old, that was ages ago. I don't even remember what he had for breakfast, let alone what happened on Sunday. That ball low to the 6-hole hitter, Noah Becker.
Speaking of breakfast, I hope they have the breakfast taquitos tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd be in for that. Yeah, I'd check it out. Becker out in front Let off speed pitch. He'll even up the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. Nordic standing proudly at second base with a 2 RBI double. Get the scoring started here for West Fargo in the top of the first.
Betker 2 for 4 last night at Ribby. He's hitting .370 on the year overall.
It's this one to Souza. Souza down to an 8, gobbles up, flips it over to first. And West Fargo's down and outs in the first. They went out before they send 2 across on this 2-run double. Hit to the deep part of the field. And it's 2-0 Rattlers. Williston, North Dakota, so let me point that out first, that there's not an ocean or a body of water that has shrimp in it. I mean, maybe the boys from California brought it up with them potentially, but a shrimp boil.
Yeah, it was good. So they got the sausage in there. They got the potatoes. They gave you a cookie. I got the peanut butter cookie with the chocolate drizzle. It was really good. I like it. It was garlicky. I love garlic, so it's delicious.
Well, you guys both got to enjoy it, and yours truly, the boss, had to sit here and do some stats. So I guess whatever. It is.
I have some half-eaten Cheetos if you'd like.
I'm all right.
I have gummy bears in my pocket.
Leading off for Tri-Valley here in the top or the bottom of the first inning will be Dylan Souza, the second baseman. That one fouled away. Souza will go down on the count 0-1. Pitching for West Fargo is number 23, Cooper Fuchs.
Well, so look at his scouting report. His four-seam fastball change curve. Be watching. On occasion, he's going to throw a knuckler.
This one hit hard to center field. Becker drifting over, and he'll make the catch. 1 up and 1 down for Fuchs here in the bottom of the first. Let's take a look at the defense for the boys from West Fargo. Narum, Becker, and Nordic across left to right. It'll be Scari, Medina, Vioni, and Olean. The battery will be Fuchs and Tevet. That's our Vogel Law Firm starting lineup where you're more than a client, you're a trusted partner in your case. First pitch, the 2-hole hitter, number 2, Hudson Flora, the catcher.
Well, I talked to Phil Medina before this game, the manager for West Fargo, and he says this Tri-Valley team, they're going to hit fastballs, so you got to have guys that can really mix speeds, and that is really the key for Cooper Fuchs to have success. If he can mix speeds, he's going to have success. If he has trouble doing that, Tri-Valley's offense is going to get going.
Second pitch strike there to Hudson Flora. So 1-1 now the count. One's across the board. That one in there just low for a ball in the column with 2 balls and 1 strike. Last game official attendance 2,164 for 2 teams that could be farther away from Williston, North Dakota. So this town has really embraced these players. This ball hit deep. Nordic tracking it. He'll set up underneath it, and he'll have the second out of the inning.
It's a great play by Nordic over there. Good first step. Kind of drop step to his right, running there diagonally to his right, and a nice play. Read it perfectly off the bat.
2 up and 2 down, a pair of fly balls for Fuchs. Now looking up the 3-hole hitter, the right fielder, Grant Henninger. Henninger, the lefty, first lefty in the lineup here for head coach of Tri-Valley. The ball outside, 1-0 now.
Henninger, a wiry, lengthy guy. You know, he's number 1 in RBIs at this World Series. 10 ribbies at this World Series in Williston. Williston has treated him well, just as they've treated us well.
And they played only 4 games in the tournament here. And that one got a piece of Grant Henninger, so he will make the 90-foot trek down to first base. That'll bring up our Proceed player matchup player to watch, George Schmidt, the center fielder.
This is where this lineup really, that's dangerous 1 through 9 as I mentioned, but it really gets dangerous. Henninger, Schmidt, that's a tough 1-2 punch. In the middle of this lineup, just simply put, gets it done. You got the catalyst with Souza and Flora, but here we go.
It'll be Schmidt, then Matteo Manetti. Throw over to first base, and Henninger will get back safely. Schmidt, the 4-hole hitter in this Tri-Valley All-Star lineup. That one hit him in the front arm, and now the first base and second base will be occupied by Tri-Valley hitters. And that'll get up Mateo Minetti.
If my math is correct, Schmidt at the World Series here in Williston in 12 plate appearances has reached 10 times. I think that's good. I think.
It's all right. I mean, if you're into that, it's all right.
Yeah.
So Minetti will come up and now shake it off. That hit by pitch was George Schmidt. Appears to be okay. He'll stay in the ball game. Fuchs trying to pitch her in a little bit of trouble here in the bottom of the first. This ball fouled off up over top of the Tri-Valley dugout.
Fuchs is a guy who doesn't get in trouble very often, so this is kind of a new ground for him. But as we see so often, especially with young kids, they're going to be amped up. So sometimes you're going to get a little trouble in the earlier innings.
The chance to have some conversation with the Tri-Valley folk as they were at one of the hotels that a couple of our staff were staying at. That one fouled back. Had one gentleman who flew in Wednesday, was teaching school. School started out there in California. And the end of every class was trying to sneak in a little bit of time to check on where the tournament is. Made his flight out here. And we appreciate all those folks watching us down in California in this Babe Ruth World Series, game number 24. This ball hit to the first baseman, O'Lean. He's going to track it down on a clean sheet for the boys from West Fargo in the bottom of the first. Back with a top of 2. Rattlers back of the dish when we return to Williston.
I have a weird system.
2-0 our score. The Rattlers leading over top of Tri-Valley. And come to the dish will be the catcher, Easton Tevet. Batting onto the 7th spot here. So West Fargo scores 2. And now Tevet laces this one to Tsunimoto. Strong throw over there and out at first base is Tevet of the bang play.
Well, Tevet apparently is a very good goalie. He's got some wheels for a goalie. Almost got there. That was close. Let's see what happens here. This is a nice play by Tsunimoto. Did he get him?
Yeah, bang call there. Might have been in the air as that ball got to the back of the glove of Foley. So Tsunimoto to Foley, and Tevet's down here in the second. Now Aiden Bioni, the second baseman, will take strike number 1. I don't know, guys. I lived in North Dakota my entire life, and I don't know that I could have picked a better night for this semifinal baseball game than what we see out here in front of us in Williston, North Dakota.
Absolutely gorgeous. Look at the skies beyond. That is just beautiful.
Count 1-1 here to Bioni. This ball popped foul over the first base dugout. It'll be Bioni, Gilseth, and Narum 8, 9, 10 here before they're able to bring it around to the top lineup. There you see, looking out over center field. Now 2-2 the count to Bioni. This one hits soft into the pitcher. PFP, and Cooney will flip over to Foley. And the 1-3 put out will be 2 up and 2 down. And Cash Gilseth will come to the plate.
Beautiful pitch by Cooney right there. Kind of had some drop to it. He hit right over the top of the baseball, created that slow roller. Easy play.
Had some pretty good names in this tournament, obviously. We talked about the Cat for Eau Claire. I think Cash is such a cool name. Like, Gilseth's not that cool, obviously, but Cash is pretty cool. And if the Gilseths are watching, sorry. Like, I mean, it's a good name. It's just not a cool name.
It's not Cash.
Yeah, it's not Cash.
Yeah.
Like, Cash Cat.
Oh,
my God.
Wow.
Mr. and Mrs. Gilseth, how do you feel about changing your son's last name? Is that an option or no?
Let us know.
Yeah, just tweet us or something. We'll
Cash Cat.
Cash Cat. I mean, kid's guaranteed to be an athlete.
And a broadcaster with a career.
For sure.
Let's send it down to Cash Cat.
Talk about, oh my God, it's too much. We got to move on. 2 balls and 1 strike here to Cash Gilseth, the extra player in the lineup for the Rattlers of West Fargo. That ball outside, now to 3-1. Keep in mind, West Fargo was the champion of the North Dakota side of the Babe Ruth tournament. And then Fargo came back and won the Midwest Plains Regional. This ball lifted into left, getting over, making a great play is Robertson. 3 up and 3 down for the boys from West Fargo. It'll be Tri-Valley coming to the plate in the bottom of the second. You're watching the 14-year-old Babe Ruth World Series live right here on the Beck Sports Network. Well, after an explosive 2-run first inning, West Fargo comes up and puts a goose egg on the board in the top of the second. They go down 1-2-3, and now Tri-Valley will come to the plate. They'll have 6, 7, 8 in the form of Robertson, Foley, and Tsunomoto.
You know, another key for Fuchs tonight. Yes, you want to have a great outing, but if you can limit pitch count, that'd be huge too, because you don't want to go terribly deep into your bullpen as well if you're West Fargo.
So Robertson, the first Tri-Valley All-Star to the dish here. Robertson, the left fielder. This one fisted back over the North Dakota dugout. Nice catch by a fan over there.
Robertson's been really good at this tournament, 429 since arriving to Williston.
Down to the count, 0-1 is Robertson, the left fielder. And he swings through that pitch, and now he's got himself in a hole at 0-2.
There you go. Fuchs doing a good job so far, mixing those speeds. That's the key. If he can keep them on their heels, keep them guessing, he can keep this thing rolling.
That ball outside. Third pitch of the at-bat is a ball. Now moving to 1 ball and 2 strikes. That one just about got a piece of Robertson. And the count leaving up at 2-2.
Interested to see what Fuchs goes with, what he's most comfortable with in these situations.
Up, and that one was headed for us, but over the top.
Go with the hard stuff there.
17 pitches so far for Cooper Fuchs. As he's now Robertson staring at 2-2. And fouled off once more. This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat.
This Tri-Valley offense are very pesky in the way that they like to see a lot of pitches. They don't swing at bad ones. They always have good at-bats. That's what makes them so tough to get out, 1 through 9.
Now the count will run full here for Cade Robertson. He's down to the count 0-2 and battle all the way back to make it full. Now he's going to watch ball 4 and head down to first base.
That's a great at-bat for Cade Robertson. Saw some pitches, takes the walk, he gets on base. That's exactly what Tri-Valley needed at this point in time.
Back-to-back lefties will bring Aiden Foley to the plate. So Foley will step in. Runner on first. Nobody out here for Tri-Valley in the bottom of the second. And
well, we got it. Yeah. We're gonna.
Don't worry. We didn't. You know, I was talking a big game. I was talking a really big game prior to that, and that ball came right into the press box, and you and I ducked out of the way.
Way out of the way. No.
And Dan, who's standing behind us, almost died.
Dan, where was that in accordance to you? Okay, to his left. It almost got him. Yeah, I went this way, you went that way.
I saw my life flash before my eyes. And then I tried to play cool with the people outside like I actually caught it. And I got a raring ovation from the fans. That ball up and advancing to second is Robertson. He's going to keep digging for third. And the throw is going to be offline. And Robertson will go all the way from first to third on the pass ball. He was taken off the ball off the top of the glove. It's a vet. So the count will go to 2 balls and 1 strikes for Aiden Foley.
Well, this is what I talked about in the keys to the game for Tri-Valley. these type of situations. Got to get a run across here. There's nobody out. You have a runner at third. And they're really good at taking advantage of those situations.
Foley follows this one straight back to the screen.
Very interesting. West Fargo, the infield in. As they lead 2-0 with a runner at third and nobody out.
It tells you how potent they know this offensive Tri-Valley is. They're going to try to cut it down. Got to keep that goose egg on the board. And swinging through, and strike three is Aiden Foley. So the first strikeout of this half for Tri-Valley belongs to Aiden Foley. That'll bring up Jake Tsunomoto, the shortstop.
Man, that thing looked like it was going to be about neck high. It dropped to the chest. Tough one right there as Foley chased it. He'd like to have that one back.
So 1 out, 1 on here. Robertson stuck at third base, and the first pitch, a ball from Fuchs.
Now a ground ball to the right side. Could be tricky if it's something where Bioni and Olin are going towards home plate. A medium to deep fly ball would suffice.
Yeah, if Tavant's got to keep his head in the swivel here, too, if the ball's hit in play. It is. That ball will squirt through. Robertson will score on the CNI single. And Tsunomoto will find himself at first base and put an RBI to his stat line for the tournament.
That is a great piece of hitting by Tsunomoto here. Watch this. This thing comes right at him. And it's, you know what? Opposite field. He knows he can just put contact to it, and he put it right in the direction of the pitch. Pitch on the outer half, you just drive it here into right center field. And again, with the infield in like that, you hit it just a little bit sharp, it's going to get through there.
That'll bring up the pitcher, Ryan Cooney. Throw back over to first base, and Tsunomoto is in safely.
I'm just saying, you live dangerously when you bring those middle infielders in on the grass. It's tough. I mean, it's got to be a pretty slowly hit ground ball for them to really have a shot, and even to get it to throw it home.
Take it off as Tsunomoto throws down, and he's in there safely. So a stolen base to add to the RBI for Jake Tsunomoto. And Ryan Cooney swings through that pitch, 0-1 now.
I'm going to give two dudes credit here. First, Tsunomoto, he got the stolen base, got the great jump, but getting that ball and popping it up quickly, Tavetti made a pretty accurate throw down there. Good job by both of those guys.
That ball up out of the zone, and the count will even up at 1 ball and 1 strike. 2-1 our score here. And the 1-1 left up in the zone will make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Tsunomoto, the RBI single, plates Cade Robertson. That's a lone run so far for Tri-Valley. That ball up as well, and now the count runs 3-1.
Fuchs is facing a tough lineup, and he's done a pretty good job so far. I get that. However, he is kind of up in the zone a little bit, and eventually Tri-Valley's going to make you pay for this. Got to kind of get that ball downward.
3-1. Catches the outside corner, and the count will go full.
Just like that. Live right there if you're Fuchs.
Now a conversation to be had between the second baseman, Bioni, Fuchs, and the catcher, Tavant.
You think they're talking about that ball you almost caught?
They might have. They're like, you see that guy with the big beard up in the press box?
You should have kept it going.
What a great catch.
You should have just like, yeah, I made a catch. I wouldn't have known.
No, they heard it hit the door behind us.
Oh, wait, he would have known.
Yeah, Patrick would have told everybody.
He would have told on us.
We both bailed as quick as humanly possible.
I know. I was almost in Patrick's booth.
That one had some stank on it. It was coming hot. I mean, I'm pretty brave, but not that brave. Full count here. The payoff pitch is wide. That'll put Ryan Cooney on in the base on balls. So Cooney will reach. It'll bring up Eli Davidson, the 10th and final batter in the lineup here for Tri-Valley.
How about your 10 guy hitting 400 at the World Series? You'll take that anytime. That's what I mean. 1 through 9, they're all tough outs. They make you work for it. And now middle infield double play depth. They want to turn 2 here and get out of this inning. Keep the lead.
Davidson takes strike. Started the inning with just in a double-digit pitches, and now Fuchs is all the way up to 34. This will be the 35th pitch of his appearance. Count goes even, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Davison 4 for 10. Didn't mean to cut you off there, partner.
That ball left up as well. That one just inside, and the count will move to 3-1. It's a rousing ovation from the West Fargo crowd. 3-1 now, coming from Fuchs. And that one hit him.
Oof. Hit him with some authority, too. Fuchs just kind of lost that one.
And now we'll get a mound visit here from the North Dakota contingency. We're going all the way back around to the top of the key. Dylan Souza next to hit. That one hit him right between the 1 and the 0 on the back of Eli Davidson.
See, that's why we dove away from the ball.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I sit at a computer and work at the keyboard. I'm not that cool. Like, I'm not about to be doing that.
I thought Dan was going to snag it for a second.
Yeah, Dan was getting out of the way just as fast as we were getting out of the way. He had the best look at it, but that's all right.
Dan was sitting Indian style, sucking his thumb after that ball come up here.
Crisscross applesauce. 2-1 our score. North Dakota mound visit here. Trying to calm down their pitcher, Fuchs. And Cooper Fuchs facing bases loaded here with 1 out. It's Tsunemoto at third, Cooney at second, and Eli Davidson on the HBP is now at first. And we come again right back around to the top of the key. And it'll be Dylan Souza, the second baseman, flew out to center field in his first step out of the ball game. First pitch, low for a ball.
Quite the conundrum here for Fuchs with runners on bases loaded and 1 down. Against this lineup especially.
That one inside, just about got a piece of Souza. And after facing 5 in the first inning, he's now faced 5. This is 6th batter to come to the plate here in the second. That one laced down the line and fair. Tsunemoto will come around to score. Cooney will come around to score. Holding up at third base is Davidson, and it's a 2 RBI double for Dylan Souza.
He smoked that baseball. Man, oh man, he corked it. It was a ball left up, belly button high, and he took advantage of it. Little inner half of the plate, and pulled it down that line.
Not much Scary could do there. Glove sides to the shortstop side. And that ball got him so quick, he made a turn, but that ball might have been by him before he even got close to putting a glove on it. So now runners on second and third with 1 out. This one hit to the gap. That will score Eli Davidson. And stopping at third is Souza, and it's an RBI single for the catcher, Hudson Flora.
And right now, the Tri-Valley offense is starting to feel it. Flora, again, sharply hit ground ball, snuck through the hole there into left. Oh, boy.
Have a pitching change here. We'll give it to you when we come back. Tri-Valley pouring it on here in the bottom of the second, leading now by 4. New pitcher will be Noah Betker. Cooper Fuchs will move over to third base, and Ian Scary will head out to center field.
Well, Betker, scouting report time, fastball change curve, very consistent with the strikes. Coach says, quote, he's got a cool head. Dude is unflappable, doesn't let a lot of things get to him. If he keeps the ball down, he keeps it at the knees, he's going to have success.
Yeah, Becker came in and pitched majority of last night's game. So he's not going to have a whole lot of pitches, I don't believe, left. I don't have the exact totals, but.
And you know what? You got to. I understand the change here because now you're down a couple of runs. You want to stay in this game. Keep giving you. The longer West Fargo stays in this game, they're going to keep having belief, and that's really the key here. Stay close, have a shot at the end. That's what West Fargo needs to do.
So Scarry to center, Fuchs to third, and Becker to the mound. Got runners on the corners and 1 out for Tri-Valley. Souza at third after his 2 RBI double, and Hudson Flora, at first with his RBI single. That'll bring Grant Henninger to the plate. 4 runs here on 3 hits in this second inning. And Tri-Valley trying to add on to it here. That ball misses outside, 1-0.
Henninger is 600 average here at the World Series. Seems like a common theme for Tri-Valley. If you think that is, well, it is. 7 of the hitters are in the top 10 as far as average is concerned here in Williston.
That ball will miss. And some confusion there. Tevent throws the ball down to second base. The runner wasn't going. And from third base, Souza will come around and score.
Not exactly what West Fargo wanted here.
I think Tevent knew the minute he threw it. I think he was looking for someone to come cut that ball off.
He was, yeah.
And the runner from first never really took off.
And in that situation, maybe best just to eat the ball, don't throw it.
Count 3-0 here to Grant Henninger. First pitch post run is a strike.
Oh, we have a stray. Oh, boy. The street toughs are back.
Here we go. Here we go. Throw it back. Throw it. The ball laying just, there you see it.
Last night you had the street toughs all together.
Yeah.
These kids about 6, 7, 8 years old, and they had to break up the game out there.
Yeah, watch this. Watch this. We'll stop this game. Watch this.
That was me, by the way.
Yeah,
when I was that
I
age.
could see that. You're in your screech coolness. I'm sure you're real cool. 3-1. That one up and out of the zone. It'll move Grant Henninger down to first base on the base on balls. And now the bases once again will be at first and second with Flora and Henninger. It'll bring up George Smith. He was hit by a pitch. Schmidt was back in the first inning.
He's a dangerous cat, man. Power guy. You got to be careful with him. You cannot leave this thing up in the zone.
This ball hit a country mile, but it'll go foul. Schmidt heard us talking up here about the street toughs. He's trying to make sure they're aware of what's going down.
Oh, he's thinking about throwing it back out there. No, he thought better of it. His mom saw him.
Throw it back. Looked like rookie of the year out there. The ball fouled back, and now the count goes to 0-2.
I don't know what he's going to do here. I would try to get him to chase. I'd either go really high fastball, breaking ball down in the dirt. I'm not going right at him here if I'm Becker.
Yeah, that long strike was hit well over 315 feet. That one catches the corner. And Schmidt is the second out of the inning here for Tri-Valley.
Becker happy with that, gets the call right there, makes a nice pitch when he needs it, and that was tailing away, caught the plate. There you go. Becker jumping up and down. He's excited.
That'll bring us back around to the 10th hitter of the inning, Matteo Minetti. That ball in there off speed for a strike.
You see how Becker was jumping like that? When I do that, I feel woozy and I see birdies. Is that bad?
Not this kid. This kid's got ice in his veins. Runners on first and second. Still 2 outs here. 0-1 now to Minetti. This one flipped into center. Late break, but he's there. Is Scarry, and they'll be put down here in the second. 4 runs. They get 5 runs on 3 hits. And the boys from Tri-Valley take the lead, headed to the top of the third. babies. Everybody loves babies at the ballpark. Taking in the second of two semifinals here tonight between the team from California and Tri-Valley and the team from the other side of the great state of North Dakota in West Fargo. A good inning for Tri-Valley at the plate. All 10 guys made it to the plate. 5 runs on 3 hits. And now they have that 5-2 lead rather.
And this is where Ryan Cooney can be really dangerous. A little pressure off his back. The Albatross has gotten a little bit lighter. He has a 3-run lead.
First pitch strike for Cooney. The hitter is Jackson Narum, the left fielder. And Narum is the 10th and final hitter to come to the plate for West Fargo here in the ball game.
Narum 1 for 4, huge 2-run double 24 hours ago.
This ball hit to second. Souza collects himself. Will flip it over to Foley. And Narum is down 4-3 here for the first out of inning number 3.
Yeah, the way Cooney pitches, when he's on, he's going to get a lot of ground ball outs. It seems like to me he's settled in a little bit.
Yeah, gave up a walk and then a single. And it was Nordic with that 2 RBI double back in the first. Since then, he went 6-3, 1-3, and a line out to center to end inning number 2. And now a 4-3 put out to start the third. And Scary swings through that first pitch strike.
Scary, a tremendous all-around athlete on this team. You want to keep him off the base paths. That's hard to do, by the way.
Scary hits a chopper taken on the first hop by Tsunimoto, and he's out at first base.
That is a great play by Tsunimoto. He was ready for it. He knew the scouting report. He knew, I got to get this thing over there quick. And he does a great job. Number one, reading it off the bat, but then realizing, hey, Scari's fast. I need to get that thing over. Made a quick throw and made a nice play. And, of course, Scari's so quick, he made it close.
They come trying to get that ball before it takes that second hop. So Tsunimoto puts Scary down here in the third. And the big bender for Brody Medina's in there for a strike. Comes right back to it with that ball in the dirt.
That's still a good-looking pitch, just a little bit lower than what he wanted. But right now, Ryan Cooney's settling in. He's got his stuff working currently.
This ball hit to Tsunimoto. Flipped over to first base, and they're down 1-2-3 here in the third. 5-2 after 2.5. Back with the bottom of the third after this. Sweet Caroline twice. Patrick loves that song, by the way. One of our camera operators. Big Sweet Caroline fan.
He's shaking his head.
Yeah, he's in agreement.
Nodding, yes.
Yeah, big fan. Cotton Eye Joe. Can't be a night at the ballpark. We haven't heard George Fogarty at all, so that is kind of, that's depressing, really, if you think about it. But 5-2 our score here. Game number 24 at 25 of the Babe Ruth World Series. If you've been with us throughout, you've seen some great baseball. You've seen some great young men. And a tip of the cap, not only to the guys on the field and the workers that have put on this tournament, but our staff as well. We've been on the air for almost a week. It'll be 8 days. In fact, 7 days today, 8 days tomorrow. Game 24 right now, 25 tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Scott Lurch, Patrick Conte, and Jesse Schwab have been here for all 7 days, and they'll be with us tomorrow as well. So tip of the cap to them and our guys back in the studio, Ryan Bradley, Brent Porkis, and Jordan Lauer, and our graphics operators, Taylor Schmidt and Zach Hassler, for sticking with us throughout this tournament and making sure that we bring the best coverage to you that we can from up here in Williston, North Dakota.
They're troopers, man. They've been working hard.
To the plate will come Cade Robertson. Robertson reached on a base on balls back in the second inning. And the count will move to 1 ball and a 1 strike here. Keep in mind, this team from Tri-Valley has been in double digits every single time they've taken the field, all 4 of their pool play games. And this one is hit to the gap and will roll into right field. And Cade Robertson has his second trip to first base in the ball game. It's 16-1 over Arkadelphia, 15-1 over West Fargo, 15-0 as they blank Puyallup, and then 10-4 over Tallahassee. West Fargo just launched themselves, lose 3-0 to Tallahassee on Saturday. They lose to Tri-Valley on Sunday, 15-1. They come back and beat Arkadelphia 10-6, and they win over top of Puyallup 8-6 as well, and then win last night over the Ohio Valley team in Eau Claire to find themselves in here to the semifinals.
I watched Tri-Valley before the game in the cages. It's hard to get impressed by a team in the cages. I was impressed by them in the cages. They are smoking the ball, hitting it right on the correct spot, and Robertson just moments ago was a great example of that.
And a check swing down to the third base appeal, and he says strike. So 1-1 now the count to Aiden Foley. Foley struck out back in the second inning. Becker's thrown 15 pitches here today. Came in relief of our starter, Cooper Fuchs. This one fouled up and over.
If you're Noah Becker, man, you just got to keep battling, got to keep working. You have to try to mix your speeds. And, you know, the great thing about West Fargo, and especially Noah Becker, he knows how to pitch. The coaching staff knows exactly what they want to do. So if they can shut him down, they can get back into this game. It's only a 3-run game. It's important for West Fargo not to panic.
Count now 1-2 to Aiden Foley.
Now Robertson does have speed. He is a threat. Becker knows his scouting report. He knows it. That's why you got those tosses over to first. And a huge lead, by the way, as well by Robertson. There he goes.
Taken out, the throw down was there, but it's a attempted to strike him out, throw him out, but Robertson will gain second base.
And he got a great jump here. Again, that's a nice throw to second base by Tevet. It's actually where you want it as well, but too much of a great jump by Robertson. He was digging that bag. I knew as soon as he took his first step over.
First pitch in there to Tsunemoto is a strike.
That's what you got to do when something happens like that, a stolen base. He did get the strikeout, which is big, but that's what you got to do. Start the next guy with the strike, because now threatening again is this very potent Tri-Valley offense.
This ball lifted to left. Going back is Narum. He camped it underneath it, and it'll be the second out on the F7 for Jake Tsunemoto, and that'll bring up Ryan Cooney, the pitcher, up to the plate here.
That's a routine-looking play, but you know what makes me impressed with these 14-year-old kids from all of these teams? They're talented. I forget they're 14 because they make all these plays look routine. It's incredible, the talent on this field.
Becker, first pitch strike to Cooney. Cooney reached on a base on balls back in the second inning. Becker, the lefty, takes a peek at Robertson and will come home. Cooney follows that one back.
Well, Robertson's a speedy runner. We saw him steal that bag at second base. So you do want to keep an eye on him. You don't want him to just think he can just get to the races willy-nilly on a single.
0-2 now. That one down, and Becker was headed off the field as though that was going to be strike three. But he'll put the brakes on and take the ball back from the catcher, Tevet.
Got to take a deep breath if you're Becker. Forget about that. Move on to the next pitch.
This pitch lifted into shallow left field. Medina drifting back, and the shortstop will make the play. And Cooney will be the final hitter to come to the plate in the third inning. 5-2 after 3. The All-Stars from California after a 2-run first inning for the boys from West Fargo. where they sent 6 to the plate. They've gone down 1, 2, 3 in the second and the third. As pitcher Ryan Cooney has hit his stride here as we approach inning number 4. He'll have pitch number 43 to start the inning as he'll face the first baseman, Austin O'Lean.
Tough part of the order coming up. O'Lean, Fuchs, and Nordic. This is key for Ryan Cooney.
First pitch in there for a strike to O'Lean.
That's that four-seam fastball. Really has served him well. That's why he's got 2 straight donuts up on that board.
Cooney gets a piece, and it'll bounce foul. As Foley gobbles it up about 4 or 5 steps in front of first base.
See what Cooney does here. It's 0-2. You could try to get him to chase. You could go off speed, breaking ball. You could just go right at him.
Pitches wide of the plate. Gonna move to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now 1 down on the dirt. Even up, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Try to get him to chase twice. And he comes at him here.
The ball inside and down to the dirt. Kind of go 3-2 now to Austin O'Lean.
Another prediction gone awry.
That one just missed as well, and O'Lean will get a free trip down to first base.
Give O'Lean some credit right there. That is a great at-bat. You're down 0-2. You stay disciplined at the plate. It's just really understanding the game of baseball and seeing the pitch well coming out of his hand.
Fuchs will come up to the dish now. Fuchs put out in a dribbler to the first baseman back in the first inning. First pitch strike to Fuchs from Cooney. North Dakota 2 runs on 2 hits. Tri-Valley looking for the pickoff play. Diving back in safely was O'Lean. Tri-Valley 5 runs on 4 hits. All 7 runs coming in the first 2 innings of this contest. That ball in there for a strike, and down quickly 0-2 is Cooper Fuchs.
It's a good move over to first base right there. Very quick.
Count actually 1-1 now. A ball outside, now move to 2 balls and 1 strike.
Now O'Lean, not really a threat to steal typically, but man, that ball kind of goes to the left, the right of the catcher. He's ready to go. About a medium-sized lead over there at first.
This ball hit to second base. Souza will flip it over to Tsunemoto, over to first in the double play. That's how they draw it up to the Tri-Valley All-Stars, and it's a double play, and that'll bring up Kaysen Nordic.
Hey, this is beautiful right here. The middle infielders getting it done. Started by Souza. Kind of an off-balance sidearm toss. That looks tougher than it actually is. And then extending out there was Foley. Nice double play right there.
Yeah, nice and clean for Tri-Valley. This ball hit to the third baseman, but it'll be foul as Davidson will gobble it up.
Ryan Cooney has come in. I think they had a really good game plan with them. Really heavy with the fastball. And I think that's exactly what you're going to have to do if you can locate that thing. But, I think it's kind of opposite. Ryan Cooney's game plan, he wants to throw a lot of fastballs, mix in his off-speed stuff. The other game plan on the other side, a lot of off-speed stuff.
1-1 the count now to Nordic. Sits back, and that ball going to be a tough play. A nice job there by Foley to collect himself and get the 3 unassisted put out. So another goose egg in front of the board for West Fargo. We'll see Tri-Valley at the plate in the bottom of the 4th when we come back. 7. 5-2 for Tri-Valley as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. They'll send 10-1-2 and Davidson, Souza, and Flora to the plate. We'll see Betker on the bump for the 4th inning here.
Now Noah Becker's come in, done a pretty good job out of the pen, kind of slowing down that bleeding in the last inning and putting up a 0. So we'll see what happens here. Again, that 5-run second, right now the difference in this ball game for Tri-Valley. But West Fargo, to their credit, they're hanging around.
So again, 10-1-2 here for Tri-Valley, the team of California.
I love the feeling around this venue right now. You know it's do or die. You know a championship berth is on the line. You can cut the tension here.
Into the box is Eli Davidson. First pitch up.
Davidson, 400 average. He's number 10 hitter in that lineup. 400 hitter at the World Series. Hit by a pitch his first time up.
Flip this ball on the first baseline. Olin may have a play on it, and he does. Running on real estate was Austin Olin, but he ends up tracking it down, keeping a beat on it. And Davidson will be up and down quickly here in the 4th inning.
Great job by Olin tracking this baseball. Had a little backspin on it. It looks like, because it looked like it was going to be out of here. Then it kind of tailed back in. He took advantage of it. Nice play by Olin.
Now we get the leadoff hitter Dylan Souza. 2 RBI double back in the 2nd inning. Ball in there for a strike. That ball down, so the count will move to 1 ball and 1 strike.
Souza, spark, plug, catalyst kind of guy. Really gets everything cooking for this Tri-Valley lineup.
High and outside will move the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Becker takes a peek in, now he'll deliver. Check me swing and fair ball right over top of the third base bag. Souza going to dig for 2. Throw's going to come in. It's cut off at short by Medina, and Souza will have a 1-out double.
Souza, man, was flying around these base paths. But look at this. Check swing. Didn't mean to do it, but he's glad he did. Hit the sweet spot of the bat just enough. Pitch was on the inner half. He kept his hands inside. That was the key to everything. I'm flying to second base. And a good slide. I wouldn't have made it to the base with the slide. I almost belly flop into second.
You look good. Real good. Now it's Hudson Flora, the 2nd hitter in this lineup. 3rd of the inning for Becker to face. Flora lifts this one foul and up over the first base dugout. Falls harmlessly on top of one of the canopies over where they serve the sodas and waters.
Well, one of the big reasons this team has done so well at the World Series, I'm speaking of Tri-Valley right now, they have a win margin of close to 13 runs per game.
This ball sent hard to left field. Underneath it is Narum.
As I was saying, a win margin of 13 runs per game. Why? Well, you have Souza to deal with, Flora, Henninger, Schmidt. It just never ends. Robertson's down there, Foley. Now you got to deal with another dude here.
This will bring up the right fielder, Grant Henninger. So 1 hit so far here in the inning. That in the form of Dylan Souza, and he's at second base right now. Becker, 32nd pitch of his appearance. In there for a strike.
Well, Henninger had a big night last Sunday in the 15-1 win over West Fargo. 4 ribbies, 3 hits in that game.
This ball sent to left. Here comes Souza. He's going to come around. Throw is going to be cut off by the third baseman, trying for the back pick and losing his footing was O'Lean. So it's advancing to second. It's going to be Grant Henninger. I think they might have had Henninger back picked at first. But O'Lean tried to put the brakes on and lost his footing. And that will be an RBI single for Grant Henninger.
Henninger just doing what he does. Just getting hits, getting on base. Great piece of hitting. Again, the throw just a little offline, but really not a bad throw in. And yeah, you're right. Oh, they had to play it first. You're dead on that.
So North Dakota commits their first error of the ball game. Nothing hurt is it gives Grant Henninger second base. Now we got George Schmidt at the plate. That ball up in the zone. The count will go to 2 balls and no strikes.
I think it's interesting how West Fargo is playing Tri-Valley in the outfield. Usually, everybody's played really shallow throughout this whole tournament. Against Tri-Valley, you got to scoot back a little bit.
Swung on and missed there for George Schmidt. Now the count will move to 2 balls and 1 strike. And now Tavet wants a quick chat with his pitcher, Betker.
Well, Becker here trying to minimize damage. He's got the stuff. Tri-Valley, though, just making some big-time hits. And that's why they're so hard to get out. Sometimes you make a good pitch. Sometimes you have a pitch down by the shins. They'll rope it somewhere. They'll golf it somewhere. Sometimes down by the knees, they'll take it opposite field on you. And you try to get that inner half of the plate, and they'll pull them. And that's exactly what you've seen, really, tonight, but this entire tournament.
So Medina joined the conference momentarily, and now everything is squared away, and Becker will step back on the bump. He's got George Schmidt facing a 2-1 count here with 2 outs and 1 on in the bottom of the 4th. That pitch misses, and the count will go 3-1. This one fouled off the front leg of Schmidt.
Well, Henninger, he can run. Got those long strides. He's a lengthy kid, wiry kid. He's at second base right now. A single would more than likely bring him in.
Full count here in the payoff pitch to George Schmidt. That ball missed, and Schmidt will get the free pass, and Becker couldn't believe it.
Becker wanted that call. It was close. These umpires have been really good all week, despite what the fans are saying right now.
Agreed. Much to the chagrin of the West Fargo faithful here. They'll get Mateo Minetti up to the dish here. 0 for 2 in the contest. He ended both the first and the second inning. As the third out of those innings, and the first pitch to Mateo is a ball. Or excuse me, Mateo Minetti. Hits this ball foul down the third baseline.
Betker, he is a battler. Doesn't let a lot of things get to him. Unflappable type of kid. There's a couple of times he wanted the call, but he has done a good job of regrouping, settling back in.
Count now sits at 1 ball and 1 strike to Mateo Minetti. This one hit right back at Becker off his glove, and out on the tag is George Schmidt. So that'll be the third out of the inning. It'll send North Dakota back to their dugout, trailing 6-2. Here in Williston. Those flags sitting right over the 395 mark in dead center field. Ryan Cooney comes back out for his 5th inning of work. That pitch is number 56 of his outing here.
What a great job Cooney has done. Allowed those 2 runs in the first. 3 straight scoreless.
And Becker swings through strike number 1. And not only did he have 3 straight scoreless innings, but he's faced the minimum over those 3 innings.
He has retired 9 of 10 Rattler hitters.
The ball misses outside. The count moved to 2 balls and 1 strike. Don't forget, championship game tomorrow at 1 o'clock right here on the Beck Sports Network and online at Beck.tv. That ball in there for a strike, and the count will leave it up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Becker will swing through strike number 3.
In art form for Ryan Cooney, this is a beautiful pitch right here.
Just a second strikeout, too, of the game. So, as you stated earlier, a lot of these outs for Ryan Cooney coming by way of the ground ball.
Yeah, and then when he's having success, that's what he's getting, the ground ball. But sometimes he'll pull out an occasional K, just like he did right there. This kid has the stuff. And he just knows how to get people out. And that's a 10 of 11 now.
Easton Tevent flips that one back. Count now 0-2.
You're Tri-Valley right now. You're feeling pretty good with this lead, and Ryan Cooney dealing like he is.
Tevent hits a dribbler to the third baseman. Tough play for Davidson. Throwing over. Stretching out, making the play is Foley.
Stretched out there like Gumby.
Aiden Foley.
Or me.
Using all of that 6-foot frame over there at first base. And a great play there by that young man. Lost his lid, but catches the ball. And now it's 2 up and 2 down. That'll bring up Aiden Bioni to the plate.
Are you that flexible?
Absolutely. I can do the splits.
I figured you were bendy.
Yeah. Something like that. Bendy is not what I would say, but strike number 1 to Bioni. That one hits the outside corner now. Bioni's down in the count quickly. 0-2.
Where Flora is setting up, Cooney's popping the mitt.
Another play for Davidson. Scoops it up. Throw over to first, and 3 up and 3 down here in the top of the 5th. It'll be Robertson, Foley, and Tsunemoto for Tri-Valley when we come back to Williston. And they're wearing the green and black of Tri-Valley. Tallahassee wins our early game against King Philip to advance to the championship round tomorrow at 1 o'clock. That 10-4 win over King Philip makes their tournament 5-1 for Tallahassee, with their lone loss coming to, guess who? Tri-Valley, 10-4 back on Wednesday.
Well, you know what? I don't think anybody would be surprised if it's Tri-Valley, Tallahassee tomorrow, but West Fargo, I think they got a run in them. I think the boys of North Dakota have a run in them here, and I expect some fireworks late in this game. We shall see.
Kid Robertson, the left fielder, the 6-hole hitter, will bat to start the bottom of the 5th inning, with Tri-Valley leading 6-2 over the North Dakota State champ, the West Fargo Rattlers. This ball flipped into center, coming over and on the run is Scary, making a great play.
I know Scary looks fast. He just run faster than normal. Man, he blazed up here. And he's so good in center field with that first step. It doesn't seem like he makes a misstep very often. I haven't seen one yet. 1
pitch, 1 out. That'll bring up Aiden Foley, the first baseman. That pitch left up. 1-0 now. The next pitch for Betker will be pitch number 45. And that one got a piece of the elbow of Aiden Foley. It'll bring up Jake Tsunemoto. So 1 on, 1 out here. And Tsunemoto a single and an RBI and a stolen base back in the 2nd. 1 for 2 in the contest. He'll dig in here with Foley taking his lead at first. That one in there for a strike.
So Becker needs to keep doing, just keep pounding the zone, trust your defense behind you.
The 0-1 for Becker here. Foul back. So the count quickly 0-2 for Aiden Foley. Check that for Jake Tsunemoto. That ball just missed. The count will leave it up to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That inner half there, Becker again doesn't get the call on that inner portion of the plate. You got to adjust. You got to understand you're not going to get that call.
This ball lifted foul. Drifting over is O'Lean. Another great play by the first baseman for West Fargo. And Tsunemoto is down here in the 5th inning.
O'Lean, a very good defensive first baseman, kind of showing off over there. He has a big old smile on his face.
The 9-hitter now will step into the box. Ryan Cooney, the pitcher, trying to help himself out here. That ball will miss wide.
I don't think they're going to send Foley here, but you never know, and I've been wrong before. He does have a decent-sized lead. He hasn't time to jump yet or anything.
This ball on the run is Scary. Just about overran it, but Johnny on the spot, and Scary will end the inning for Tri-Valley. Still 6-2 after 5, top of the 6th. Next. Lights are on here at Artie Offutt Stadium in Williston, North Dakota, the home of North Dakota Babe Ruth baseball. Game 24 of 25. The winner to take on Tallahassee tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the Babe Ruth World Series Championship game. Ryan Cooney flies out to end the 5th, and he'll come back out for his 6th inning of work on the bump for Tri-Valley. First pitch in there, a strike to cash. Check that Bryce Mandarin, who will check into the ball game. So Mandarin will come on. This is a dribble to the pitcher and thrown over to first base, and Mandarin's down on just 2 pitches.
According to my calculations, that is 12 of 13 hitters retired, as Ryan Cooney has settled into this ball game, and he's implemented his game plan very well. That first inning gave up a couple runs. I think he was amped up, juiced up. He has calmed down since. 4 straight scoreless since that point. 4 2/3 altogether.
Narum takes an inside pitch. We're in the 6th inning. This is just his 2nd at bat for Jackson Narum in the contest. Now one down the dirt will go 2-0. So after facing 6 in the first, Ryan Cooney faced 3 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, and just 3 in the 5th. That ball catches the outside half, moves the count to 2 balls and 1 strike.
And again, Flora, the catcher, he's not having to move hardly at all. Where he's setting up, Cooney's hitting.
This ball flipped foul right over the 3rd base line. Count will move now to 2 balls and 2 strikes. And swinging through that pitch was Narum. Throw down to first base, and Narum will go down on strikes.
Bottom of Flora, the catcher's glove, touching the dirt. That's where the ball went. Gets a swing and a miss. I am really impressed by the effort tonight of Ryan Cooney. He has settled in, and he's almost unhittable at this particular point in time.
Ian Skyer now will come up as they work back to the top of the order here in the top of the 6th. Skyer walked in the first, grounded out back in the 3rd. Heads up. That was close to us, but not in our press box space.
I was ready to get that.
That was the radio guy. The radio guy's got to look out. We know he's not catching. We didn't catch it. The radio guy's not going to catch it. If he says he caught it, he's a liar.
Who would do that?
Yeah, I would never say that. Scary lines out to third base, and that'll do it for West Fargo in the 6th. Tri-Valley comes back up on the bottom of the 6th. When we return to Ardent-Offit Stadium in beautiful Williston, North Dakota. Trail by 4 after leading after 1, 2-0. The boys from Tri-Valley put up 5 in the 2nd and 1 in the 4th. And Ryan Cooney, after that 5-batter first inning, has absolutely, check that 6-batter first inning, has been absolutely dealing.
He's retired 8 straight and 15 of 16 a walk mixed in between there. He hasn't allowed to hit in a long time. In fact, since that first.
Becker will come back out and will face 10-1-2 for Tri-Valley here in the form of Eli Davidson, Dylan Souza, and Hudson Flora. Ooh, the PA guy, Davidson. He's loving it. He's ready. Let's go. He wants to go 10 tonight. Just getting warmed up in the press box. This ball, shallow center, Scary. Every time that young man comes in, it looks like he's going to overrun the ball, but puts the brakes on. And 1 pitch, 1 out here as Eli Davidson flies out to center field. And that'll bring us back to the top of the order in Dylan Souza.
I get Scary's game. He keeps the hat loose because he loses it every time, too, because he wants to show the ladies the blonde hair. I get it.
I'm in. I'll check it out. He's got good flow. He's got good speed. This one hammered to left field. There I'm going back. And 2 pitches, 2 outs here as Dylan Souza lines out to left.
No, that's exactly what the doctor ordered. If you're Beck, you're trying to keep your team in this game. Hey, this is not insurmountable. It's a 4-run lead. You still got a shot. And Becker and this West Fargo team, they are not going to go away.
Hudson Flora will come to the dish. Number 2, the catcher, is 1 for 3 and an RBI here in the contest. First pitch in there for a strike.
I thought it was really funny, the mentality of both of these coaches, 15-1 loser, 15-1 winner, and they're both like, that's over. Forget about it. Move on. New day.
So outside of the 5-run second inning, where they batted around to the Tri-Valley All-Stars, this pitching staff for West Fargo has done a good job taking care of the baseball. Given up just 1 run since then.
I just want to kind of paint the picture, Tri-Valley, how good this team is. They haven't had a lot of obstacles. They came back down 3 runs in a regional game. That's pretty much it. This team's really good. That's why they're the favorites coming in. And I think, Tallahassee tomorrow, if this result holds, they got to keep putting that pressure on them. Oh, boy, he almost didn't get that call there. But they got to keep putting that pressure on them. And then West Fargo, if they can get back in it, that's something. You get a couple of runs, you get within 1, 2, maybe that puts the pressure on Tri-Valley.
Counts 2-2 here. 2's across for Hudson Flora. That one up with his own, and we'll go full here to the number 2 hitter for Tri-Valley. This ball smoked to left field. Nairn will take it on a hop. And then we have our first hit of the 6th inning for Hudson Flora.
Flora 2 out of 4. Just continuing to get it done. He now has 3 multi-hit games here at the World Series in Williston.
Yeah, and if you're Becker, you wanted to get Flora because now you face a guy in Grant Henninger who's yet to get out here today. The only player in the lineup that's yet to get out today. Henninger walked in the first, walked in the second, and an RBI single back in the 4th. First pitch for Becker in there for a strike.
It's like a Floyd Money Mayweather 1-2 punch with Henninger and Schmidt back-to-back in the lineup. That is a tough one.
This ball skewing foul. Okay, tomorrow's championship game will be at 1 o'clock right here on the Beck Sports Network and online at Beck.tv. Tallahassee awaits their dancing partner. Little hit and run there from Tri-Valley and fouled away off the bat of Grant Henninger.
Well, Flora took off there, and I would not be shocked if he does here. I'm not predicting it, but I wouldn't be shocked. Why? Because he had a great jump. I mean, a great jump over at first.
And Becker, the left-handed pitcher, tends to keep the runners fairly close at first base. He'll take a long look here at Flora before he comes home. That ball will miss wide. It'll go to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 64th pitch upcoming for Becker here. And taking second base is Hudson Flora.
Hey, I was right for once.
Once.
Broken clock stuff.
Yeah. Blind squirrel and a nut thing that they talk about. 2-2 here to Grant Henninger. Strike 3, and Henninger will sit down. Becker bounces off the mound. And they're down to their last 3 outs are the West Fargo Rattlers. They'll come up after we return to Williston. Watching the Green Bay Packers beat the New Orleans Saints in NFL preseason action 20-10. While you were away watching NFL football, the boys from Tri-Valley have done what they've done all tournament long. They're up on top of their opponent. They lead 6-2 as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Tri-Valley scored 5 in the second, 1 in the 4th. And Ryan Cooney, their pitcher, has been rolling ever since that second inning, facing the minimum here in the last 4 innings.
Well, West Fargo switched their lineup around after that 15-1 loss 2 games into this tournament, and they had confidence coming in. They performed really well offensively. The story of this game, usually for Tri-Valley, the story is their potent offense. The story of this game has been the pitching from Cooney and the defense behind them.
Cooney's got 75 pitches coming into this inning. He's going to try to get all the way through this game and pitch a complete game 2-hitter and send his team to the championship game on Saturday afternoon. 1-1 now to the shortstop, Brody Medina. That ball bent in there for a strike, and Medina now down to the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cooney comes back with a high fastball. That just misses. And the ball account will even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. This ball flipped into center field. And Schmidt is there for Tri-Valley.
That's 9 straight retired. 16 of 17 retired for Ryan Cooney.
North Dakota down to their final 2 outs here. And West Fargo, the North Dakota champ. There were 3 North Dakota teams in this tournament. Williston, the host team. West Fargo, the North Dakota champs. And Fargo, who went and won the Midwest Regional. As the first pitch to Olin is in there for a strike. Swinging through that pitch is Austin Olin. Now he's got himself in a hole. 0-2.
He has struck out and walked so far tonight.
Foul tip right into the glove of Flora. And North Dakota now down to their last out. And their last hope will be number 23, our starting pitcher tonight, Cooper Fuchs, who was chased out of the game in that 5-run second inning.
Beautiful four-seam fastball to finish off Olin.
This ball sent to left. Robertson drifting over, and that's going to do it. And Tri-Valley will match up with Tallahassee in the championship round of this 2022 14U Babe Ruth World Series. So Tri-Valley, your winners 6-2. Time to take a look at our Farmers Oil Company of Pettibone CHS Nutrition Player of the Game. And this young man was absolutely dealing all game long. That in the form of the pitcher in Ryan Cooney. Faced 6 in the first, and then through the final 6 inning, faced the minimum on the way to the win.
He retired 11 straight in the game, 18 of 19 to win the game. And again, the story for Tri-Valley, as I mentioned just a little bit ago, it's their offense. They can't be stopped. Their offense did just enough tonight, getting 6 runs, the big 5-run second inning. But then the story tonight was the pitcher, Ryan Cooney, and that defense behind him was spectacular.
East Coast, West Coast matchup in our championship round. There'll be Tallahassee, Florida, and Tri-Valley, California at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon to decide the champion of the 14U Babe Ruth World Series. Special thanks to our crew today as they did a great job as always. Scott Lurch, Jesse Schwab, Patrick Conte. Back at the studios in Bismarck, Ryan Bradley and Zach Kassler. For my broadcast partners today, Dan Doherty and Chris Brittle. I'm Jordan Hassler saying goodbye and good night from Argonaut Stadium in Williston, North Dakota. Tallahassee gets by King Philip, and Tri-Valley takes care of West Fargo. Tallahassee and Tri-Valley tomorrow at 1 o'clock to decide the championship game. We'll have it for you right here on the Beck Sports Network. Until tomorrow at 12:45 with our Farmers Union Insurance pregame show. So long, everyone.